This video is sponsored by Truco Republic, the precious metals experts. Talk to one of their experts today about diversifying your portfolio to help assure your future financial security. Find their contact information in the description below and pinned in the first comment. It's a heavy program, so we're going to close that and we'll hear my one note. Beautiful. James Kaufman, World News Report today. Ladies and gentlemen, today is June 18th, 2024, and I'm about to show y'all that I believe that we're about to be destroyed again. It looks like this happens every 3,600 years, according, to a lot that's in these documents here. I don't know if we're still on. No one has showed up. It looks like we are streaming. I went through all the similarities, which were nothing but similarities between the Bible and these ancient texts. These are the oldest texts existing, right? And as I said, I don't know what y'all got, and I know they're not sending out any invites anytime soon. All right, are we going? I don't know. I got VPN on out of the country. I've got everything going, but they're not having this, guys. They're not having this at all. Especially when I show y'all that we took them during the Iraq War here, looted them, and then we gave them back in a formal ceremony to Iraq. December 2021, we stole them in 1991, right? And here is that formal ceremony. They said they're worth $1.7 million. They're priceless. These are the oldest texts that we know about. Again, my question is, why haven't we been able to, if we can read the Sumerian texts here, the cuneiform, why can't we read the ones that cover Nibiru, etc., that they found? We don't know if it's my third try, hopefully. We don't know if Zechariah Stitchin's interpretations are correct or not. These were interpreted in 1871. Buffering, well, you know what? This is U.S. Immigrations and Customs. We returned them after stealing them during the war. Here they say they're 2,600 years old. It looks like they're about 3,600 years old. And it looks like that's going to be the magic number. 11th tablet. That's the one I actually have I have it on audio. The 11th tablet on audio. We're about to listen to the whole tablet. And these were found, look, it's hard to believe, in Nineveh after it was destroyed and the library was destroyed. The oldest text known to man here, and they say $1.7 million. Babylon is the person that destroyed Nineveh, and they were the ones that found these tablets and kept them. And they became very, very famous tablets. I can't believe that this is in here and that Babylon conquered and they brought Nineveh to rubble, and they found these texts, and some of them are broken. I did have pictures I did show y'all of these texts. We're going to kind of have to jump around here. It goes through everything, though. Genesis 6:8, it matches everything about Genesis here. God decided to destroy humans because of wickedness and sinfulness. That's in these texts and Genesis 6:5-7. Righteous man was directed to build an ark to save a limited and select group of people and all species of animals. Both arks were huge, although the shapes were different. Square and rectangle, those are different. Both arks had a single door and one window. A great rain covered the land. Noah's flood was 40 days, and the tablets that were translated by marine G. Kovacs, I believe in 1871. She thinks that they said that it was 6 days and 7 nights. Birds were released on both the old Sumerian cuneiform and in the Bible to see if there's any land to go to. After the rains ceased, both arks came to rest on mountains, Ararat and Unet. Well, I'm not going to even try it. They're only 300 miles apart. Sacrifices were offered after the floods. Gods were pleased. God promised not to destroy humans again, Genesis 8:12. I believe he said he would destroy it not by flood again, but by fire and brimstone. Anyway, I have the entire 12th book here, and scholars believe that the Torah is in here, and the Old Testament were taken from these Sumerian cuneiform texts. These old texts here. And it's a sensible jump, right? Since everything matches up perfectly. It's so weird that 12 incomplete tablets were found at the library after it was already, and I've read this somewhere, I had a lot of stuff pulled up, at Nineveh, after the library was destroyed by Babylon, right? And Babylon took the text with them. That's the truth. Did the Bible borrow the Noah Ark story from the Epic of Gilgamesh? This is a picture of the Epic of Gilgamesh right here in the Ark. November 1872, a self-taught historian named George Smith toiled away in the archives of the British Museum. Now, how did they end up in the British Museum if they were in Iraq when we took them in 1991 and gave them back in 2021? A lot of this doesn't make sense. There's a lot of things that lap over and don't make sense, but supposedly this guy interpreted all of this. He found something remarkable, translated the cuneiform word by word, a familiar story unfolded, God punishing humanity with a catastrophic flood. One man was chosen to survive using a special constructed boat filled with animals and seeds. After the flood, the boat's being released by find dry land. Story of Noah's Ark, and through Genesis in the Hebrew Bible, known as the Old Testament. Also, the Torah mentions all this too. And look at this. Around 1800 to 1000 BC, before the Hebrew Bible. So let me put this all together. It's going to be a 3,600 year cycle, and I believe this is the 7th cycle that we're going up on here. And 7's the magic number. It's going to be a big one. Now, I could be wrong, but that came to me from a really good source. Hey, Kristen. Hope everything went well with your son. All right. They believe that these texts influenced Homer's Odyssey and other later works. What is the other one that it influenced? The Odyssey and the... I read through this. We're not going to read that part. All right. In 1972, George Smith translated the famous flood tablet, Tablet 11, which is what I have ready to go, the standard Babylonian version of the Epic of Gilgamesh, causing a sensation due to its striking similarity. It's more than striking similarity. The book of Genesis. You can see his comments here. A history of the world in 100 objects. So, however, this guy's so sensational. Prior knowledge of ancient Greek flood myths, it's particularly, well, let's just get to it. See what else before they take us down here. and how he survived it. Now, I didn't know Gilgamesh survived it, but he must be the Nephilim bloodline. They do call him Nephilim in some of these. Can anyone even believe that it was found actually in Nineveh, however you say it? We've talked about this many times. Remember the solar eclipse and how many towns we talked about named just that. Well, they discovered it after Babylon tore Nineveh to the ground in pieces. They discovered these cuneiform texts, and look, it's an ancient Assyrian, like Syria, sitting in Upper Mesopotamia. Earlier, when they cut me off, I showed y'all where the cradle of civilization was. I don't know if I have that pulled back up or not. But the U.S. took these texts out of Iraq in 1991 and returned them in 2021. I did show y'all that, hopefully, in two articles that I included. Let's go ahead and listen to this, guys. And we'll listen to it while we look for. These are the actual tablets here. And they kind of took everything away from us here. But, of course, look, looted and returned. U.S. returns dating back 3000 BC, worth $1.7 million. I would say priceless. All right, this is it again. Looted Gilgamesh tablets returned to Iraq in formal ceremony. 2021. They were taken during the Gulf War of, 1991. They gave them a really low value. I would have made that value so much higher, right? So much higher. Federal agents with Homeland Security investigation seized them from the U.S. Museum where they were. Look, during the Gulf War of 91, they took them. Unbelievable. All right. While we look at these, I'm going to play this. I have not heard this either. I've only read pieces of it. So we'll all be hearing it together. And I will be live here with y'all. And we'll be able to talk. And I'll be able to listening and reading.
The Epic of Gilgamesh. Tablet Ans. The story of the flood.
See if they
Gilgamesh spoke to Utanapishtim, the faraway. I have been looking at you, but your appearance is not strange. You are like me. You yourself are not different. You are like me. My mind was resolved to fight with you, but instead, my arm lies useless over you. Tell me, how is it that you stand in the assembly of the god? Found life. Utanapishtim spoke to Gilgamesh, saying, I will reveal to you, Gilgamesh, a thing that is hidden, a secret of the gods I will tell you. Pak, a city that you surely know, situated on the banks of the Euphrates. That city was very old and there were gods inside it. The hearts of the great gods moved them to inflict the flood. Their father Anu uttered the oath of secrecy. Valiant Enlil was their advisor, Ninurta was their chamberlain, Ennugi was their minister of canals. Ea, the clever prince, was under oath with them, so he repeated their talk to the reed house. Reed house, wall, wall, O man of Shurapak, son of Ubatutu, tear down the house and build a boat, abandon wealth and seek living beings. 43 spurn possessions and keep alive living beings. Make all living beings go up into the boat. The boat, which you are to build, its dimensions must measure equal to each other. Its length must correspond to its width. Roof it over like the Apsu. I understood and spoke to my lord Ea. My lord, thus is the command which you have uttered. I will heed and will do it. But what shall I answer the city, the populace, and the elders? Ea spoke, commanding me, his servant. You, well then, this is what you must say to them. It appears that Enlil is rejecting me, so I cannot reside in your city, nor set foot on Enlil's earth. I will go down to the Apsu to live with my lord Ea, and upon you he will rain down abundance, a profusion of foul, myriad fishes. He will bring to you a harvest of wealth. In the morning he will let loaves of bread shower down, and in the evening a rain of wheat. Just as dawn began to glow, the land assembled around me. The carpenter carried his hatchet, the reed worker carried his flattening stone, the men. The child carried the pitch, the weak brought whatever else was needed. On the 5th day I laid out her exterior. It was a field in area. Its walls were each 10 times 12 cubits in height. The sides of its top were of equal length, 10 times it cubits each. I laid out its interior structure and drew a picture of it. I provided it with 6 decks, thus dividing it into 7 levels. The inside of it I divided into 9 compartments. I drove plugs to keep out water in its middle part. I saw to the punting poles and laid in what was necessary. 3 times 3,600 units of raw bitumen I poured into the bitumen kiln. 3 times 3,600 units of pitch. Into it there were 3 times 3,600 porters of casks who carried vegetable oil, apart from the 3,600 units of oil which
I have everything locked up on my computer, guys. I will start that again too. This is getting ridiculous. I know about where we were.
The Epic of Gilgamesh. Tablet Ans. And upon you he will rain down abundance, a profusion of foul, myriad fishes. He will bring to you a harvest of wealth. In the morning he will let loaves of bread shower down, and in the evening a rain of wheat. Just as dawn began to glow, the land assembled around me. The carpenter carried his hatchet, the reed worker carried his flattening stone, the men. The child carried the pitch, the weak brought whatever else was needed.
Now, what I don't understand is how these people deciphered these things in the UK. If they were really in Iraq, I don't get it, because we see all the problems with that, right? They're pretty here, and the Smithsonian too. We didn't get a hold of them until 91 during the first, well, I won't even say it. But that's really weird how they say that they were deciphered in 1871 by this person that they actually mentioned, George Smith here, deciphered the text, and this is according to the Smithsonian. Did you hear how many times they mentioned 3,600? That's the number I've been telling y'all. They mentioned it like 50 times just now. See if I can find it again. Ooh. See what we've got going on here. Maybe once I start it, I can't stop it. You know me. I'm going to try again. I'm not going to stop.
The Epic of Gilgamesh. Tablet Ans. The story. Dogs crouching by the outer wall. Ishtar shrieked like a woman in childbirth. The sweet-voiced mistress of the gods wailed. The olden days have alas turned to clay because I said evil things in the assembly of the gods. How could I say evil things in the assembly of the gods, ordering a catastrophe to destroy my people? No sooner have I given birth to my dear people than they fill the sea like so many fish. The gods, those of the Anunnaki, were weeping with her. The gods humbly sat weeping, sobbing with grief, their lips burning, parched with thirst. 6 days and 7 nights came the wind and flood, the storm flattening the land. When the 7th day arrived, the storm was pounding, the flood was a war, struggling with itself like a woman writhing in labor. The sea calmed, fell still, the whirlwind and flood stopped up. I looked around all day long. Quiet had set in and all.
I made it happen.
The human beings had turned to clay. The terrain was as flat as a roof. I opened a vent and fresh air, daylight, fell upon the side of my nose. I fell to my knees and sat weeping, tears streaming down the side of my nose. I looked around for coastlines in the expanse of the sea, and at 12 leagues there emerged a region of land. On Mount Nimosh the boat lodged firm. Mount Nimosh held the boat, allowing no sway. 1 day and a second Mount Nimosh held the boat, allowing no sway.
It sounds
a
very
third day,
familiar.
a fourth, Mount Nimosh held the boat, allowing no sway. A 5th day, a 6th, Mount Nimosh held the boat, allowing no sway.
Now we're going to come back
When
to
the 7th
8.
day arrived, I sent forth a dove and released it.
Same
The
as
dove went off but
dove.
came back to me. No, perch was visible, so it circled back to me. I sent forth a swallow and released it.
Same
The
thing.
swallow went off but came back to me. No perch was visible, so it circled back to me. I sent forth a raven and released it.
Same thing.
46.
Noah.
The raven went off and saw the waters slither back.
Now we're going to go back to 1815, but I want to play this 3600. And I might have to start it again. I'm sure I will, right? You know me. They can't stop me.
The Epic of Gilgamesh.
Oh.
Tablet Ans. The story of the flood. Gilgamesh spoke to Utanapishtim, the faraway.
Listen,
I have been
3600.
looking at you, but your appearance is not strange. You are like me. You yourself are not different. You are like me. My mind was resolved to fight with you, but instead, my arm lies useless over you. Tell me, how is it that you stand in the assembly of the gods and have found life? Utanapishtim spoke to Gilgamesh, saying, I will reveal to you, Gilgamesh, a thing that is hidden, a secret of the gods I will tell you.
3600 years.
Shurupak, a city that you surely know, situated on the banks of the Euphrates. That city was very old and there were gods inside it. The hearts of the great gods moved them to inflict the flood. Their father Anu uttered the oath of secrecy. Valiant Enlil was their advisor, Ninurta was their chamberlain, Ennugi was their minister of canals. Ea, the clever prince, was under oath with them, so he repeated their talk to the reed house. Reed house, wall, wall, O man of Shurupak, son of Ubatutu, tear down the house and build a boat, abandon wealth and seek living beings. 43 spurn possessions and keep alive living beings. Make all living beings go up into the boat. The boat, which you are to build, its dimensions must measure equal to each other. Its length must correspond to its width.
Super chat.
Roof it over like the Apsu. I understood and spoke to my lord Ea. My lord, thus is the command which you have uttered. I will heed and will do it. But what shall I answer the city, the populace and the elders? Ea spoke, commanding me, his servant. You, well then, this is what you must say to them. It appears that Enlil is rejecting me, so I cannot reside in your city,
Enlil.
nor set foot on Enlil's earth.
Original
I will
fallen
go down
angel.
to the Apsu to live with my lord, Ea, and upon you he will rain down abundance,
Enlil.
a profusion of fowl,
Forest.
myriad fishes. He will bring to you a harvest of wealth. In the morning he will let loaves of bread shower down, and in the evening a rain of wheat. Just as dawn began to glow, the land assembled around me. The carpenter carried his hatchet, the reed worker carried his flattening stone. The men. The child carried the pitch. The weak brought whatever else was needed. On the 5th day I laid out her exterior. It was a field in area. Its walls were each 10 times 12 cubits in height. The sides of its top were of equal length, 10 times it cubits each.
Enlil.
I laid out its
Fallen
interior
angel.
structure and drew a picture of it.
I've covered him before.
I provided it with 6 decks, thus dividing it into 7
That is inky
levels.
though, you're right.
The inside of it I divided into 9 compartments. I drove plugs
You're welcome,
to keep
Mike
out
Johnson.
water in its middle part. I saw to the punting poles and laid in what was necessary. 3 times 3,600 units of raw bitumen I poured
3,600.
into the bitumen kiln. 3 times 3,600 units of pitch
3,600.
into it. There were 3 times 3,600 porters of casks who carried vegetable oil, apart from the 3,600 units of oil which they consumed, and 2 times 3,600 units of oil which the boatmen stored away. 44. I butchered oxen for the meat, and day upon day I slaughtered sheep. I gave them a workman, ale, beer, oil, and wine as if it were river water, so they could make a party like the New Year's festival. And I set my hand to the oiling. The boat was finished by sunset.
We'll just see if it
The
plays.
launching was very difficult.
Did y'all see the
They had to
3,600
keep carrying a
units?
runway of poles front to back until 2/3 of it had gone into the water. Whatever I had, I loaded on it. Whatever silver I had, I loaded on it. Whatever gold I had, I loaded on it. All the living beings that I had, I loaded on it.
Y'all
I
the
had
only
all my
ones that
kith and
get to
kin
hear
go up
this.
into the boat. All the beasts and animals of the field and the craftsmen I had go up. Shamash had set a stated time. In the morning I will let loaves of bread shower down, and in the evening a
Thank
rain
you,
of
Miss
wheat.
Donna.
Go inside the boat. Seal the entry. That stated time had arrived. In the morning he let loaves of bread shower down, and in the evening a rain of wheat. I watched the appearance of the weather. The weather was frightful to behold. I went into the boat and sealed the entry. For the caulking of the boat, to Puzoramori, the boatman, I gave the palace together with its contents.
Y'all the only one that
Just
gets
as
to hear
dawn
this.
began to glow, there arose from the horizon a black cloud. Adad rumbled inside of it. Before him went Shulat and Hanish, heralds going over mountain and land. Aragal pulled out the mooring poles. Forth went Ninurta and made the dikes overflow. The Anunnaki lifted up the torches, setting the land ablaze with their flare.
The Anunnaki.
Stunned shock over Adad's deeds overtook the heavens and turned to
Anunnaki.
blackness all that had been light. The land shattered like a bad pot. All day long the south wind blew, blowing fast, submerging the mountain in water, overwhelming the people like an attack.
Chat
No one
GTP
could
4 Pro.
see his fellow 45. They could not recognize each other in the torrent.
Good thing my
The
dad's
gods were
around.
frightened by the flood and retreated, ascending to the heaven of Anu. The gods were cowering like dogs crouching by the outer wall. Ishtar shrieked like a woman in childbirth. The sweet-voiced mistress of the gods wailed, "The olden days have alas turned to clay, because I said evil things in the assembly of the gods." How could I say evil things in the assembly of the gods, ordering a catastrophe to destroy my people? No sooner have I given birth to my dear people than they fill the sea like so many fish.
Tablet
The
11.
gods, those of the Anunnaki, were weeping with her.
The oldest
The gods humbly sat weeping,
Written
sobbing with grief, their lips
tablet
burning,
known
parched
to
with
man.
thirst.
The
6
oldest.
days and 7 nights came the wind and flood, the storm flattening the land. When the 7th day arrived, the storm was pounding. The flood was a war, struggling with itself like a woman writhing in labor. The sea calmed, fell still, the whirlwind and flood stopped up. I looked around all day long. Quiet had set in and all. The human beings had turned to clay. The terrain was as flat as a roof. I opened a vent and fresh air, daylight, fell upon the side of my nose.
Uh-oh. Alright. My computer is going off like I've never seen it. It's so hot right now. We'll start at 7-Eleven again. But that's probably a sign from God, stopping it there at 7-Eleven. He gave me the 3,600 years while I was sleeping. I've been telling you all this for 2 years now. And Mike sent these in, and I couldn't get them deciphered because of the way the PDF was put together. We had to use something that costs thousands of dollars a month. My dad has the ChatGPT 4 Pro to get this done. So we're going to start 7-Eleven. That's when it stopped. I was walking around the room listening, but we're going to start again at 7-Eleven. I just wanted y'all to hear the 3600s over and over and over and over again. It's not by happenstance that he says 3600 seven times exactly, and now it stops at 7-Eleven. Not like in the convenience store. I will start it again. It's my dad. You can all thank my dad for helping us out, guys. It took.
The Epic of Gilgamesh circled back to me. I sent forth a raven and released it. Day a fourth, Matnimush held the boat, allowing no sway. A fifth day, a sixth, Matnimush held the boat, allowing no sway. When a seventh day arrived, I sent forth a dove and released it.
I must be
the dove went off but came back to me.
Chosen one.
No. Perch was visible, so it circled back to me. I sent forth a swallow and released it. The swallow went off but came back to me. No perch was visible, so it circled back to me. I sent forth a raven and released it. 46. The raven went off and saw the waters slither back. 47. It eats, it scratches, it bobs, but does not circle back to me. Then I sent out everything in all directions and sacrificed a sheep. I offered incense in front of the mountain ziggurat. 7 and 7 cult vessels I put in place, and into the fire, underneath, or into their bowls. I poured reeds, cedar, and myrtle. The gods smelled the savor. The gods smelled the sweet savor, and collected like flies over a sheep sacrifice.
Thousands of
Just
years
then Belatili arrived.
Before
she lifted up the large flies, beads, which Anu had made for his enjoyment.
Or Hebrew Bible.
You gods, as surely as I shall not forget this lapis lazuli around my neck, may I be mindful of these days and never forget them. The gods may come to the incense offering, but Enlil may not come to the incense offering, because without considering he brought about the flood and
Enlil is a fallen
consigned
angel.
my people to annihilation.
We've covered.
Just then Enlil arrived.
Oh, they stopped us again, but we won't quit. 9:20. Enlil is a fallen angel that's actually covered in that stuff that I did about Horus. So this is a freak show, and you're right, it is inky as it moves on into the Greek and Roman era. 9:20. We might have to. No one wants to hit any of this out. Okay, this is the 3,600 year cycle that we're on. We're there. Hold on. 9:20. I don't know why.
The Epic of Gilgamesh. Just then Belatili arrived. She lifted up the large flies, beads, which Anu had made for his enjoyment. You gods, as surely as I shall not forget this lapis lazuli around my neck, may I be mindful of these days and never forget them. The gods may come to the incense offering, but Enlil may not come to the incense offering, because without considering he brought about the flood and consigned my people to annihilation. Just then Enlil arrived. He saw the boat and became furious. He was filled with rage at the Igigi gods. Where did a living being escape? No man was to survive the annihilation. Ninurta spoke to valiant Enlil, saying, who else but Ea could devise such a thing? It is Ea who knows every machination. La spoke to valiant Enlil, saying, it is yours, O valiant one, who is the sage of the gods.
It says
how could you bring about a flood without consideration?
On the tablet, Anunnaki.
Charge the violation to the violator, charge the offense to the offender, but be compassionate lest mankind be cut off, be patient lest they be killed. Instead of your bringing on the flood, would that a lion had appeared to diminish the people. Instead of your bringing on the flood, would that a wolf had appeared to diminish the people.
No.
Instead of your bringing on the flood, would that famine had occurred to slay the land. Instead of your bringing on the flood, would that pestilent error had appeared to ravage the land.
No, all we did
It
is
was not
use
I who revealed the secret of the great gods. I only made a dream appear to Atrahasis, and thus he heard the secret of the gods. Now then, the deliberation should be about him. Enlil went up inside the boat and grasping my hand and made me go up. He had my wife go up and kneel by my side. He touched our forehead and standing between us he blessed us. Previously, Utanapishtim was a human being. But now, let Utanapishtim and his wife become like us, the gods. Let Utanapishtim reside far away at the mouth of the rivers. They took us far away and settled us at the mouth of the rivers. Now then, who will convene the gods on your behalf that you may find the life that you are seeking? Wait, you must not lie down for 6 days and 7 nights. Soon as he sat down, with his head between his legs, sleep like a fog blew upon him. Utanapishtim said to his wife, "Look there, the man, the youth who wanted eternal life. Sleep like a fog blew over him."
Thank you, Miss Donna.
His wife said to Utanapishtim the faraway,
Y'all the
"Touch
only one
him,
that
let the
gets
man
to hear
awaken.
this.
Let him return safely by the way he came. Let him return to his land by the gate through which he left."
Do y'all know what GTP4
Utanapishtim said to his wife, "Mankind is deceptive and will deceive you.
a lot?
Come, bake loaves for him and keep setting them by his head and draw on the wall each day that he lay down." She baked his loaves and placed them by his head and marked on the wall the day that he lay down. The first loaf was desiccated, the second stale, the third moist. The fourth turned white, the fifth sprouted grey, mold. The sixth is still fresh. The seventh, suddenly he touched him, and the man awoke. Gilgamesh said to Utanapishtim, "The very moment sleep was pouring over me, you touched me and alerted me." Utanapishtim spoke to Gilgamesh, saying, "Look over here, Gilgamesh, count your loaves. You should be aware of what is marked on the wall. Your first loaf is desiccated, the second stale, the third moist, your fourth turned white, the fifth sprouted grey, the sixth is still fresh. The seventh, suddenly he touched him and the man awoke." Gilgamesh said to Utanapishtim, 48-49, "The very moment sleep was pouring over me, you touched me and alerted me." Utanapishtim spoke to Gilgamesh, saying, "Look over here, Gilgamesh, count your loaves. You should be aware of what is marked on the wall. Your first loaf is desiccated, the second stale, the third moist, your fourth turned white, the fifth sprouted grey, mold. The sixth is still fresh. The seventh, at that instant you awoke." Gilgamesh said to Utanapishtim the faraway, "Oh woe, what shall I do, Utanapishtim, where shall I go? The snatcher has taken hold of my flesh. In my bedroom death dwells, is death. Home empty-handed."
I can't believe it stopped at 7.
Utanapishtim said to Urshanabi, the ferryman,
I was in the
"May the harbor reject you, may the ferry landing reject you. May you who used to walk its shores be denied its shores. The man in front of whom you walk, matted hair chains his body. Animal skins have ruined his beautiful skin. Take him away, Urshanabi, bring him to the washing place. Let him wash his matted hair in water like Elu. Let him cast away his animal skin, and have the sea carry it off. Let his body be moistened with fine oil. Let the wrap around his head be made new. Let him wear royal robes worthy of him. Until he goes off to his city, until he sets off on his way, let his royal robe not become spotted. Let it be perfectly new." Urshanabi took him away and brought him to the washing place. He washed his matted hair with water like Elu. He cast off his animal skin and the sea carried it o. He moistened his body with fine oil and made a new wrap for his head. He put on a royal robe worthy of him. Until he went away to his city, until he set off on his way, his royal robe remained unspotted. It was perfectly clean. Gilgamesh and Urshanabi bearded the boat. They cast off the Majulu boat and sailed away. The wife of Utanapishtim The faraway said to him, Gilgamesh came here exhausted and worn out. What can you give him so that he can return to his land with honor? 50. Then Gilgamesh raised a punting pole and drew the boat to shore. Utanapishtim spoke to Gilgamesh, saying, Gilgamesh, you came here exhausted and worn out. What can I give you so you can return to your land? I will disclose to you a thing that is hidden, Gilgamesh. I will tell you. There is a plant, like a boxthorn, whose thorns will prick your hand like a rose. If your hands reach that plant, you will become a young man again. Hearing this, Gilgamesh opened a conduit to the Apsu and attached.
Alright, hey, all we got to do is so we got to thank the old man for this. 1600. Guys, this is epic. We're the only ones that get to hear this interpretation because it took me and my father, two very educated people, 1600. I don't know what that said. It's a 7. It's a 7. No way. I'm freaking out. I can't believe they mentioned 3600 7 times. And I've been telling y'all for years when I was sleeping, I came awake sweating with 3600 years. We'll go to 16. Don't worry. My dad called it the boat. It is actually called the flood.
Or the third moist, pulled him.
4 seconds.
He took the plant, though it pricked his hand, and cut the heavy stones from his feet, letting the waves throw him onto its shores. Gilgamesh spoke to Urshanabi, the ferryman, saying, Urshanabi, this plant is a plant against decay, Bible. I will bring it to Uruk-haven and have an old man eat the plant to test it. The plant's name is The Old Man Becomes a Young Man.
What is the plant's name?
Then I will eat it and return to the condition of my youth.
What is the plant?
At 20 leagues they broke for some food. At 30 leagues they stopped for the night. Seeing a spring and how cool its waters were, Gilgamesh went down and was bathing in the water. A snake smelled the fragrance of the plant, silently, came up and carried off the plant. While going back, it sloughed off its casing. At that point, Gilgamesh sat down, weeping, his tears streaming over the side of his nose. Counsel me, O ferryman Urshanabi, for whom have my arms labored, Urshanabi? For whom has my heart's blood roiled? I have not secured any good deed for myself, but done a good deed for the lion of the ground. Now the high waters are coursing 20 leagues distant. As I was opening the conduit, I turned my equipment over into it. What can I find to serve as a marker for me? I will turn back from the journey by sea and leave the boat by the shore. At 20 leagues they broke for some food. At 30 leagues they stopped for the night. They arrived in Uruk-haven. Gilgamesh said to Urshanabi the ferryman, Go up, Urshanabi, onto the wall of Uruk and walk around. Examine its foundation. Inspect its brickwork thoroughly. Is not even the core of the brick structure of kiln-fire brick? And did not the 7 sages themselves lay out its plan? 1 league city, 1 league palm. Gardens, 1 league lowlands, the open area of the Ishtar temple, 3 leagues, and the open area of Uruk it encloses.
I shouldn't hit that button. Are we over? We are over. All right. I want to show y'all some of the information that I've come across. Just y'all are the only ones that are ever going to hear this because it took 2 geniuses, Mensa geniuses, 4 days to get that done. Babylon actually took down, if I say it wrong, too bad, Nineveh, and they took it down. Thunder Snow, it's written in the Bible. I read it to y'all, written in the Bible. Babylon took it down to rubble. Babylon actually saved these books, although some of them were broken, and they're on clay tablets. Who would ever imagine a clay tablet could survive 3,600 years? Well, or something like that. Why did they mention 3,600 7 times, all at one time? I want to show y'all Epic of Gilgamesh. It's 12 books. I don't have the 12th one, but this is the most important. Kramos, what's up, bro? We're killing it tonight. I won't lie to y'all. Now, if anyone has something to say in the chat or wants to call up, one of our wrenches, let's make some people some wrenches up here, up in here. Put our email down so they can send, only if you live here in the U.S., because I just can't afford right now to call out of the country. I won't block my number, and I'll never call you back. But if anyone wants to comment and has something to say, this is epic. And I'm going to pull some things. This is how Genesis matches up on everything that happened. And someone said, Genesis 7:11. Look, 7:11, it stopped at 7:11. The thing stopped at 7:11. Do y'all not understand that? In the land of mountains, right when that is, I was in the kitchen, okay? I'm not kidding with y'all, right? I've been screaming 3,600 years is within the next 5 to 7 years. It's coming around very quickly. I've been screaming that for 6 months to a year now. Genesis, this is how Gilgamesh and the Bible, Genesis 8:6 through 12. Genesis 8:4, Genesis 8:20, Genesis 8. Maybe if Teresa could read Genesis 8, or God, it looks long, but that's all right. 21 through 22. It all goes along with something that was created 3,000 years. Well, I think about 1,600 years. That's my really good guess. I do want to bring something up that's been taken down. Y'all saw that the U.S. stole these tablets. That's how I don't understand how someone interpreted them in 1871, and why we cannot interpret it. Miss Teresa.
Yes, my love.
Am I knocking it out of the park tonight?
Oh my gosh, I'm speechless.
We all are, but I can't believe they've let us on. I've put us on two VPNs. One's on my computer, one's on my wall, in between this and the router, guys. That's how bad they're after me. And the computer's so hot, and the button, I have exterior on my I'm working from a little laptop. It's very powerful, but
they don't want this information out.
Oh, they don't want any of this out. So this is the real account that was covered in the Bible, and it actually talks about the Nephilim and how they survived the flood.
Repeat. What chapter do you want me to read?
It looked like Genesis 8. I don't know. I mean, it's all... Whoa, thank you, somebody, for buying me a cup of coffee. Please take credit for it. You deserve to. That was the 11th tablet. I have 11 of the 12 tablets, and I couldn't interpret it, but I knew with my dad's help, and what I couldn't believe is I could actually read it, but I just couldn't get it because it was 14 pages long.
Wow.
It said 36. Remember, I've been telling y'all 3,600 years. Do I lie, Teresa?
Yes, you have.
Why did it say 3,600 years 7 times in a row? And then why did it stop at 7-11 when I was in the kitchen? I mean,
Genesis 7:11 say? It says, in the 600th year of Noah's life, on the 17th day of the 2nd month, on that day, all the springs of the great deep burst forth, and the floodgates of the heavens were opened, and the rain fell on the earth. And that's when it stopped. I wasn't even on the table, guys. I saw it.
when I came back and saw the time, I was like, I'm freaking out now. So it looks like the best thing we can do, perhaps, is I don't know a lot about Genesis. They're talking about 6, 7, and 8 mostly. I don't know if that's a lot or a little or what, really.
You want to do 6, 7, and 8? We can do it.
Well, I don't know. We don't have to do it all.
Let's start. Genesis 6.
Whatever you say. Wasn't that epic, though? We've been working on that for 3 days, guys.
It was, I was just sitting here with my mouth hanging open.
Right, and for those of you that don't know it, the library in, and help me, Nineveh?
Oh, yeah, you said it right.
Well, remember the X and the seven cities named that it crossed. Y'all remember that?
Went over all of them.
And remember now, this has nothing. This is months later, and now I'm covering this.
Do you remember the name of that guy that is going to be sent again? And that's where he was from, also.
The anti.
No, the 2 nights ago reading the name I couldn't pronounce.
Okay.
There's been a couple of them, but that was one of them. And he was going to be sent again, and that's where he was from. And that's in the same area.
Well, that is incredible.
This is all connected.
And you know what? I feel like I have been, well, not burdened with, but I feel like I have to continue now based on this. I've been coming up with a 3,600 year deal, and no one said that anywhere ever. And then here, 7 times in a row, one after another, that's when I really was reading chapter 11, and I couldn't get it to work through. I have, just so you guys know, I want to show y'all. I have hundreds of readers. Let me show y'all a new Chrome that I bought commercially, and it couldn't read this. And luckily, we have the old man, right? How do you even
Thank you, Papa Kaufman.
Right. Luckily, we have the old man that pays thousands of dollars for that was GTP 4 Pro that actually.
He's a pretty special guy.
Well, he did it, and it made sense. Well, tell me what you feel like doing. It's all about feeling, right?
I'm on Genesis 6, the flood.
Okay, well, I am going to open that up. NIV? Guys, I'm sorry, I don't even know how to spell it. I was a math guy.
Genesis.
6. Okay, so I don't know how long any of these are, and I apologize.
It's not that long. I got a bottle of water. I'm good.
All right, and if they are, we can do it another time, but it's just so weird to me that
it's not at all. It's wonderful.
It seems like this team is working together here to get it done. Get it done.
Mike, I bet Pop's mouth was hanging open like mine.
I don't know if Pop's, my father ever read it. He's just too busy, but...
I bet he listened to it.
Well, I hope he does. He doesn't believe in... he believes in a creator, but he doesn't believe in the Bible. So, he was actually a Scientologist, and then they stole like $110,000 from him, trying to move him up to... Oh, this is a big scam.
Well, they're big in Florida.
And I had to get involved with it and pull him out of that thing. It was like a cult.
Yeah.
I had to actually pull him
When
out.
I lived in Florida, it was a big deal down there.
You know,
I love you.
hey Tiff, when he was involved, I saw the money going out to them, and they charge for just, it's ridiculous is all I can say. Luckily, while I was teaching him that we never went to the moon, I got him out of that crap. Now he believes in creation and a God. He just doesn't believe in the Bible, right?
He'll get there. He'll get there. He'll be okay.
All right, so I'm going to start it if I've got it right, because this is exactly how Gilgamesh's deal, the wickedness of the world, in the world, excuse me.
The flood, when men began to increase in number on the earth, and the daughters were born to them, the sons of God saw that the daughters of men were beautiful, and they married, and any of them they chose. Then the Lord said, my spirit will not contend with a man forever, for he is mortal. His days will be 120 years. The Nephilim were on earth in those days, and also afterward.
So they use that. They use that in the clay tablets too.
Mm-hmm.
That's
and the Anunnaki.
They use the word Anunnaki, and that's GTP's translation. They
yeah,
don't.
That's the aliens, right?
That's the fallen angels that are so big or tall, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not going to pretend like I know. I just am learning.
The Nephilim were on earth in those days and also afterward, when the sons of God went to the daughters of the men and had children by them. They were the heroes of old men and renown. The Lord saw how great man's wickedness on the earth had become, and that every inclination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil all the time. The Lord was grieved that he had made men on the earth, and that his heart was filled with pain. So the Lord said, I will wipe mankind, whom I have created, from the face of the earth, men and animals and creatures that move along the ground, and birds of the air, for I am grieved that I have made them. But Noah found favor in the eyes of the Lord. This is the account of Noah. Noah was a righteous man, blameless among the people of his time, and he walked with God. Noah had 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Now the earth was corrupt in God's sight and was full of violence. God saw how corrupt the earth had become, for all the people of earth had corrupted their ways. So God said to Noah, I am going to put an end to all the people, for the earth is filled with violence because of them, and I am surely going to destroy both them and the earth. So make yourselves an ark of cypress wood. Make rooms in and coat it with pitch, inside and out. This is how you are to build it. The ark is to be 450 feet long, 75 feet wide, 45 feet high. Make a roof, for it is, and finish the ark to within 18 inches of the top. Put a door in the side of the ark, and make lower, middle, and upper decks. I am going to bring flood waters on earth to destroy all life under the heavens. Every creature that has a breath, life in it. Everything on earth will perish, but I will establish my covenant with you, and you will enter the ark, you and your sons and your wife and your sons' wives with you. You are to bring into the ark 2 of all living creatures, male and female, to keep them alive with you. 2 of every kind of bird, and every kind of animal, and of every kind of creature that moves along the ground will come to you to be kept alive. You are to take every kind of food that is to be eaten and store it away as food.
Seeds.
And for them. Noah did everything just as God commanded him to. The Lord then said to Noah, go into the ark, you and your whole family, because I have found you righteous in this generation, take with you seven of every kind of clean animal, and a male of its mate, and 2 of every kind of unclean animal, a male and its mate, and also 7 of every kind of bird, male and female, to keep their various kinds alive throughout the earth. 7 days from now, I will send rain on the earth for 40 days and 40 nights, and I will wipe from the face of the earth every living creature I have made. And Noah did all the Lord had commanded him to do. Noah was 600 years old when the flood waters came to the earth. And Noah and his sons and his wife and his sons' wives entered the ark to escape the waters of the flood. Pairs of clean and unclean animals, of birds and all creatures that move along the ground, male and female, came to Noah and entered the ark, as God had commanded Noah to do. And after the 7 days of the flood waters came to the earth, in the 600th year of Noah's life, on the 17th day of the 2nd month, on that day, all the springs of the great deep burst forth, and the floodgates of the heavens were opened, and the rain fell on the earth for 40 days and 40 nights. On that very day, Noah and his sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, together with his wife and the wives of the 3 sons, entered the ark. And they had with them every wild animal according to its kind, all livestock according to their kinds, every creature that moves along the ground according to their kind, and every bird according to its kind, everything with wings, pairs of all creatures, had the breath of life in them, came to Noah and entered the ark. The animals going in were male and female of every living thing, as God had commanded Noah to do. Then the Lord shut him in for 40 days. The flood kept coming on the earth, and the waters increased, and they lifted the ark high above the earth. The waters rose and increased greatly on the earth, and the ark floated on the surface of the water. They rose greatly on the earth, and all the high mountains under the entire heavens were covered. The waters rose and covered the mountains to a depth of more than 20 feet. Everything that had moved on the earth had perished. Birds, livestock, wild animals, all the creatures, everything that swarmed the earth, and all of its mankind, everything on dry land, and had the breath of life in its nostrils had died. Every living thing on the face of the earth was wiped out. Men and animals and all the creatures that move around the ground and the birds in the air were wiped from the earth. Only Noah was left and those that were with him in the ark. The waters flooded the earth for 150 days. Chapter 8.
Oh, we're going to do 8? All right.
But God remembered Noah and all the wild animals and the livestock that were with him in the ark. And they sent a wind over the earth, and the waters receded. Now the springs of the deep and the floodgates of heavens had been closed, and the rain had stopped falling from the sky. The water receded steadily from the earth. And the end of 150 days, the water had gone down. And on the 17th day of the 7th month, the ark came to a rest on a mountain of Ararat. The waters continued to recede until the 10th month. And on the first day of the 10th month, the tops of the mountains became visible. After 40 days, Noah opened the window that he had made in the ark.
One window, just like the other guy.
and sent out a raven, and it kept flying back and forth until the waters had dried up from the earth. Then he sent out a dove to see if the waters had receded from the surface of the ground, but the dove could find no place to set its feet because there was water.
I'll just get sparrow.
On the surface of the earth. So it returned to Noah in the ark. He reached out his hand and took the dove and brought it back to himself in the ark. He waited 7 more days and again set out the dove from the ark. When the dove returned to him in the evening, there in its beak was a freshly plucked olive leaf. Then Noah knew that the water had receded from the earth. He waited 7 more days and set the dove out again, but this time the dove did not return to him. By the first day of the first month of the Noah's 601st year, the water had dried up from the earth. Noah then removed the covering from the ark and saw that the surface of the ground was dry. By the 27th day of the 2nd month, the earth was completely dry. Then God said to Noah, "Come out of the ark, you and your wife and your sons and their wives. Bring out every kind of living creature that is with you, the birds, the animals, and all the creatures that move along the ground, so that they can multiply on the earth and be fruitful and increase in number upon it." So Noah came out, and together with his sons and his wife and his sons' wives, all the animals that were, all the creatures that move along the ground, and all the birds, everything that moves on the earth, came out of the ark, one kind after another. Then Noah built an altar to the Lord, and taking some all of the birds and clean birds, he sacrificed burnt offerings on it.
Thank you.
The Lord smelled the pleasing aroma and said in his heart, "Never again will I curse the ground because of man, even though every inclination of his heart is evil from childhood, and never again will I destroy all living creatures as I have done. As long as the earth endures, seed time and harvest, cold and heat, summer and winter, day and night will never cease."
God, amen. God bless you. You know what? You had not one hiccup. God gave you the strength to read that perfectly. I just can't believe how perfect it was. And
I'm so grateful.
you know what's even weirder is this matches up even more so than I thought it would to these ancient writings on clay tablets that were over 3,000 years.
That's why so many people said that Noah stole the story from Gilgamesh.
Well, stole, maybe
because it was the same.
Yeah, maybe, and I think y'all all know that all cultures have that same story about the flood, right?
Right.
All cultures.
Right.
And even, I don't know why it didn't come up, but this whole Gilgamesh thing was mentioned in the Quran, and it compared to the Quran, and it was just straight on, which I guess is just the first 5 books of the Hebrew Bible. We call it the Old Testament, but that was written 3,000 or 4,000 years, or 2,000 or 3,000 years afterwards. I don't know. No one.
I'm not AI, honey. Thank you, guys. I love you.
Love you too. So thank you so much. God bless you.
God bless you. Good night.
All right. A great reading. If anyone wants to say anything or call in and has anything to say, it'd be much appreciated. And if not, well, we'll go on to something else. Well, I don't know if the polls flipped today, but Mike Johnson. It was beautiful. Hey, God bless each and every one of you guys. We'll be back with something. It's going to be hard to beat this, obviously, right? I do want y'all to know that these were taken in the 1991 Gulf War by Bush Sr. and returned in 2021 as a gift to the Iraqi government. And they said they were worth $1.7 million. Ladies and gentlemen, if they sold at auction today, they would sell for $1 trillion. I mean, that's a good guess. That's a conservative guess, okay? $1 trillion. If they can really translate this stuff. Of course, I don't know how to translate it, so my question again is, why can't they translate the tablets from Samaria, same cuneiform, about Nibiru, if you will, and the ninth planet? Why is it just Zechariah Stitchin? You know the governments have a computer program that can stare at that cuneiform and tell you exactly what it means. I already told y'all they knew about the 3,600-year cycle because of the Grand Canyon. They can look through the layers of the Grand Canyon. What they see is volcanic ash every 3,600 years, as in all the volcanoes blow up, all of them. You know, they told us not to leave our houses even to get gas today in Houston and the Woodlands because the air quality from the volcanoes, this is a true story, on the Houston Chronicle, on all of our local channels, especially bad in Louisiana and Mississippi because of their setup. But they told us not to even go get gas. The air quality was too poor. What a weird deal. Very, very weird. Now, guys, I've got the tablets of Thorth, whatever his name is. And we have all 11 books, although there's a 12th book that we need to get our hands on. So I'm always working with you guys. You guys are the white hats, right? Working with you guys to figure out how we're going to figure out what's going on around us. I'll give you 3. Whoa. These are all good today. Fires is extremely good today. Albuquerque, New Mexico was all right, let's see if I can start that poll for a few moments and see if anyone wants to join us. Get kind of a number of anyone that wants to join us and see if we need to bring it back around. How's everyone doing tonight? Hopefully we all learned something. I'm pretty sure I did. So I always told y'all, any day you don't learn something, you're not living. You're not living. So I can't believe how small the writing is. It's like, I was an oil and gas attorney for 35 years. That's like the 11 font that I used to have to read. That was before you could blow it up. So I was always reading 11 font, which is very small, right? On all the contracts. And you have to read every word because they'll stick something in the middle of nowhere to screw you. Especially if there's money involved, right? Money involved. Sky thing, you missed the best one. Probably better than some of my Fallen Angel videos and my every president except for Buchanan, who's really from Ireland, so I'm sure he is Knight Templar, is all William the Conqueror, and the Walker. All right. Nakura, how are you doing? Well, those are going to be two different videos. The fires are really blowing up right now, which is a terrible thing. I don't know if it's some sort of war that we don't know that's occurring. That would seem logical, right? Logical to smart people like us, right? That they're actually having a war and they're using... It's kind of like if a drone attacks you and no one claims that they attacked you with a drone, how would you ever know unless there's pieces of the drone to identify, which the smart kids don't put any writing on the pieces of the drone anymore, right? How would you ever identify who attacked you? Ever. It could be your own government that attacked you, right? That's the problem with drone warfare, which is where we're at now. Why even vote? These Republicans suck. Why would you even vote to draft our young men and women when you could put 1 million drones the size of smaller than your hand in the field, and they'd do a much better job? And if we lost a drone, who cares, right? Who cares? But if we lose one of our children, everyone cares, or everyone should care, except for these elite, I'll call them bastards, right? Hey, Mr. Nakura Lopez. God bless. Hey, Miss Kristen Lee, I hope you had a great time with your son. It looks like we're going after these wildfires, which we probably should. You know, they have New Mexico evacuations, they have Los Angeles evacuations, we got Washington evacuations right now. But I'm going to let y'all vote for a second longer before we decide, right? We'll turn it around in about 15 minutes. And that'll be a wrap after that video for the day. Hopefully, I'm so sorry that I couldn't get through this in one take. There was a lot of information. I did leave up the first take. I don't know how far it went. I was actually talking to you guys for 10 or 20 minutes after Thunder Snow said the third try will work. Thank you. You're right, Thunder Snow. But I didn't know what that meant. From now on, guys, just so y'all know, I can see your chats after they take us down. I don't know why. Just say, James, you're down. Please, because I'm so tired of preaching to myself, which I'm not preaching, but you know what I mean. I want to know why they can translate these Sumerian texts, but not the ones having to do with Nibiru in the 3,600 year cycle, which, by the way, was mentioned 7 times in less than 30 seconds. Why would he say that? 3,600, 3,600, 3,600, 3,600, 7 times on this old tablet. I'm just telling you, or asking you, really. I don't know. I think I do know, because remember, I've been telling you, that's the magic number, and we're there for over a year now. I guess our Creator talks to me while I never really go to sleep anymore, guys. I just lay there waiting for the next command. That's how I feel, which is okay. Which is okay. If not me, then who? If not now, then when? Right? You guys are the white hats. You guys are the white hats. So I fight so damn hard for our children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren because of all the evil on the world. And hopefully, and I don't want to be repaid for it, I do want to keep the channel up. That's why I asked for donations. Thank you, Miss Justice. I can barely talk after not taking a day off for 4 years. I started the channel. I didn't take a day off for 4 years. Been live every single day. Even the day you think I wasn't live, I was live earlier in the day. I know I've broken the Guinness Book of World Records for most live in a row. I know I have over the years, but they made me erase most of the great information. You know who actually read a lot of it? They actually erased all the ISS data that I had, all the data proving that they were faking the ISS and the moon landings, hard data. They erased all that even before Miss Donna Brown got involved, but she went back and watched a lot of my videos, 14,000 of them. Who does 15,000 videos in less than 4 years? Only someone that's being held up by a higher power. Only someone that's being held up by a higher power. Because let me tell you what, I feel exhausted. But when I get up, I get my coffee going, I hit the big screen, hit the computers, and get it going. So I need to start working out again. They deleted the bloodlines, everything. 14,500 videos were deleted. It's epic, but in the same instance, you can see the fear that they have. It shows you the fear that they have because they went that far, right? But you know what? Just so you guys know, I can redo those and I still have them on my computer. As a matter of fact, I can do any of those. Actually, I have them on a hard drive that's not connected to my computer, so that they're not mine. I have the Good Morning America interview with when they forgot the 15-second delay that they were supposed to have. They were talking perfectly until the captain kicked the other one, and then he was counting. Sometimes it was 12 seconds, sometimes it was 13, sometimes 15. It's a total joke. Everything they do is a joke. We're filming just across the U.S. Where I went to high school. That's what the guy said. It's actually what he said. We're filming just across the U.S. where I went to high school on the East Coast. I mean, these people are smart. Smart. Right? All right, we're doing earthquakes and fires. We'll be back soon. Love you guys. Lots of love. If you can help the channel out, buy us a cup of coffee. They must have been stopping me because I don't go quiet. I won't take that. God bless you guys. We'll be right back in about 10, 15 minutes. It's easy for me to pull up that report because I've done it so many damn times. Thank y'all. God bless you guys. Hope everyone learned something, and I hope everyone enjoyed the show tonight. Please share our video. Please subscribe, and always remember, anything's possible in bizarre-ass world. Thank you.